Good morning, everybody. Keith here. As always, I hope everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. I'm going to wait a few minutes to get some people on because I need people to really listen up here. Because as we see what's going on in the world today is BS. Particularly in regards to people like myself trying to put out a positive message. And everybody keeps sending me this shit about coronavirus and 5G and all this other stuff without paying attention to the positives that come out of it. So first off, let's start with the coronavirus. Coronavirus is just a simple common cold. Ain't nobody ever died from the common cold. So when we have this coronavirus and people are supposedly dying because of it, it's because they have underlying issues that cause the problems. And in fact, the coronavirus that we see today is the weakest, and it's man-made, and it is the weakest coronavirus in history. Think about that. It's man-made. This particular strain of coronavirus is man-made. And it's the weakest. What does that tell you? Now let's talk about the 5G. 5G, everybody's all up in arms about this 5G without realizing how it works, how it operates. See, 5G's been around for a long time. It's been around since the beginning of time. It's only a matter of we discovering it and being able to utilize it and not utilizing it properly. So when it comes to the 5G, comprehend, the Earth's resonant frequency is 6 hertz to 8 hertz, the same resonant frequency as man's mind. We're supposed to be in harmony with that resonant frequency. When we start dealing with 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and I assure you, 8G is already being developed. 6G and 7G are already developed. And when we talk about 5G, like I said, this is a resonant frequency wave. This too is a resonant frequency wave. It's a higher frequency because there's a greater disparity in its travel. However, as the lower frequencies go like this, we absorb them great. We have no problem absorbing them. 5G, however, because it's so disparaging in length this way, it has a hard time traveling this way. And that's why it has to be direct. Think about this, people. Microwaves been out since 1970s. And all they have to protect you is a piece of glass. So when it comes to the resonant frequency of 5G, it is disrupted by glass itself. It's also disrupted by metals such as copper, steel, aluminum, all of which your house is completely surrounded in when you think about aluminum siding and mesh screens and the wiring and the plumbing in your house. So therefore, as soon as it hits your house, it's dispersed and it's no longer like this. It gets broke down. And that's why you have a signal within a certain range of that little box that sits in your house. Now let's get on to the positive things. We hear this stuff about milk producers having to throw out other milk. cattle not being sold. Well, if it does come to a time where we're short supplied because the rest of the world doesn't want to import, export, who do you think we're going to be depending upon for our milk and meat? Certainly not you. So when it comes to this shutdown, I suggest people start taking advantage of it. Learn how to garden. My God, one of the best things we could use this for is your homeschooling. Imagine if a mass part of the United States, Americans, people, ended up sending their kids back to school smarter than when they left. We need to take advantage of this and realize our opportunity. Have you noticed the gas prices lately? I think it's a $1.49 for regular gas here. We haven't seen those prices in decades. So we need to be aware of this stuff and learn how to take advantage of it. When it comes to the milk and beef that's being shut down, we have to realize, and I'm going to relate it to the Tax Stamp Act. If anybody here saw my video or attended my Zoom on the Tax Stamp Act, I explained how the rest of the world took all of their supplies, their goods, to England and then shipped them out, including the American colonies. That was the reason for the Tea Party, the Boston Tea Party. They were getting ready to ship their tea across the seas to England to have them taxed, to have them sent back to them. That's what the United States is doing today. We have to realize this and wake up. Because while you're sitting there in all your fear and fear-mongering, what you're doing is twisting the words and using the twisted words that are already there. If you don't wake up and start acting in equity and learning His Word, so you can see what we can take advantage of and give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar and never have to take it back. We can use this to our advantage by dispelling all the lies. Again, like I said, coronavirus is the common cold, and nature itself makes a stronger version of the common cold than this current man-made weak-ass shit that they're putting on as though it's a compounded pandemic. While at the same time, the figures are lower than they've ever been. Same with the 5G. Bless his heart and bless his soul. But the guy I stay with blocked me because I tried to explain to him how he's fear-mongering with the 5G stuff. If you comprehend how 5G works, you don't have any fear of it because you know it doesn't affect you the way they profess it does. Sure, the guys that go out there on them poles and install it and turn it on without some kind of mesh suiting to protect them, to disperse those waves and cut them so they don't burn them up, that's all it takes to help those guys. And that's why they're dying. That's why they're dying of cancer, because they're installing it without taking the proper protections. While in the meantime, if you comprehend it, like I said, your window screens, the glass and the screens, the aluminum siding, the gutters on your house, the roll roofing on your house, all the nails, all the screws, all the plumbing, the electrical wiring, it's all dispersing it and cutting it. And yet you live in this fear, and you keep sending me all this shit. I ain't got time for it. I've already discovered it. I already know what it is. And I'm trying to put it out there so you can comprehend it as well. And you go right back to it and send me another coronavirus video. I don't want them. I want truth. I want love and life, not fear mongering. People ask me, well, how do you manage to do this? How do you manage to live so free? I quit signing documents. I quit professing that what they put down was truth. And I question everything. And again, granted, many of you people aren't in the position I'm in. Many of you people have people that are dependent upon you. But that doesn't mean that you can't start taking the baby steps to gradually progress to the same stage. See, when England, when America got its freedom and supposedly became America, all it was a conversion from the port of taxation from England to America. America makes all the tax codes and everything. New Zealand follows the United States code. Canada, for a while, used to follow United States code. It's just the new taxing authority. That's all it is. And they're saying that you have to import it or export it from yourself to them so they can export it or import it back to yourself. And therefore, because they were involved in that three-party transaction, they get to charge you a tax. Quit! Comprehend how it works and quit giving your shit away. Every time you sign a document without asking questions, you're just giving it away. Because somewhere in there is a lie. And most likely, even if it's just a one-page document that you're signing, most likely there's at least 10 lies. You need to learn this shit and understand the words and where they come from, just like the 5G. Like I said, 5G's been around since the beginning of time. 6G, 7G, 8G's been around since the beginning of time. We're just now developing it for our own use. When in actuality, we need to get back to the right use of the right frequency so we can behave accordingly to His word and not the negative of the bullshit devilish words that are twisted and serpentined into your mind as if though they're true. The morpheme of the grapheme of the phoneme. Phoneme being the sonic sound. In beginning was word. And then they graphemed it. In other words, they put it on a graph and started learning how to write it out so other people could comprehend what they were speaking. And then throughout time, they morphed it. If you look throughout the languages, you'll see a lot of different words for a lot of different languages that mean almost the same thing. But according to the English language today and most languages around the world today, they're all twisted and serpentine based on the original languages. And for those of you that want to discuss about, well, Hebrew says this or Phoenician says this, let me remind you, the cavemans didn't know anything about that, yet they were still able to express their words. How come nobody wants to talk about the caveman? In beginning was word. Isn't word just a symbol? A graph? It was just done on a wall in a cave. That's the only difference. All of a sudden, man decides to make this nice, pretty-looking pyramid and graph things on the walls there. And somehow somebody seems to think that's an origin. Original. It is original for Egyptian. Is it original for you? Exactly. Richie says, you keep fighting as if which you are. It's an energy game. That's exactly what it is. It's an energy game. Like I said, man's mind works on the same resonant frequency as the earth. You get in tune with that and realize all the destruction of the truth throughout history. Yeah, David West says, reminds me of Charles Manson. You know, Charles Manson, when an interviewer asked him, what's it feel like now that you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life? He looked at him with this stupid look on his face and said, how can you imprison somebody that's free in their mind? That's just idiocy. And he's right. You can put a man's body physically in prison, but you can never imprison a man who's free in his mind. And this was reiterated in Roots. Roots, the father said to his daughter, they can shackle your body, but don't let them shackle your thoughts. Period. And you people are all shackled up by your thoughts while you're running around without any ball and chain. And it's all due to fear. Every last bit of it. When you replace that fear with knowledge, then the fear can't enter again. And I've explained this before. It's like you got a parking lot in your head. This big old parking ramp. And if you go through your head and you look at all the license plates on all those vehicles in there and notice which ones say fear, learn about it. Take that plate off and put knowledge on there. Free your mind. Pure and simple. That's all it takes. Wake up, people. Here we are on Easter Sunday, and people don't know it's pronounced Easter. The morpheme of the grapheme of the phoneme. It's about that carnal bullshit. Yeah, study and find thyself approved. Richie says he learned to meditate while he was in jail. Damn right. Damn right. And that's why they don't want to put me in jail anymore. It's not because I'm going to go in there and meditate, but I'm going to go in there and educate. They don't want people like me in those jail cells educating these people so that they can walk out. They don't release themselves. Like I said, 4 years ago, I walked out of jail and they tried telling me I had to sign release documents. I'm sorry, I don't wish to lease my services anymore. Well, you have to sign or we can't let you out. Oh, really? You're going to directly disobey the judge's order to discharge? I was out in less than 2 minutes. And they put on their documents, refused to sign. Just like they'd put on their documents all the way through that case. Refused to sign. And again, granted, I wasn't successful in having it completely discharged or vacated or anything like that. But like I said, all 5 previous offenses of possession, I got the max penalty, 2 years and all the fines and everything, drug evals and all that. This time I fired the attorney, the public defender, pretender, and told him if he said one word in there, I was going to hold him liable. Now again, granted, I didn't win, and I even went in there. I've got a totally different view of how I should have behaved there in that particular instance, but at that time, I wasn't quite as knowledgeable as I am today, and I was in there cussing and swearing and fingering them and all kinds of stuff. And I realized today I'm supposed to go in peace and just present the logic of it. So, think about this stuff, people. And I'm glad you guys joined me today, but please wake up, quit the fear-mongering. Don't send me any more 5G or coronavirus stuff. I don't want anything but positive news. That's what shows me you're on my side. That's what shows me you're a brother in arms. That's what shows me you're going to be able to help me get over all of this bullshit that the rest of this corporate oligarchy is trying to impose upon everybody through fear themselves. See, coronavirus is again, like I said, it's just a common cold, and they got the world up in arms over it because they had a couple doctors that said it was a pandemic. And that's the first thing people think about is that word pandemic. And automatically they think it's something to fear without doing their own research and checking out what a coronavirus is. And then continuing on their research. This is one thing that really bothers me about people that do some of their research and then want to sit there and argue with us. If you're going to go to one source and bring that up as your position for argument without checking out the other sources, then you're the one that's failing. When you do your research, you research both sides of the tracks. You research different views and opinions from all different sources. You don't have to go through all 370,000 pages of Google or your search engine, but at least go through a few different sources so you can get a general idea so that you can see things that don't coincide between the various different sources. And then do further research on that stuff that doesn't coincide. That's what questioning is all about. You question things that just don't make sense. And I assure you, like when you're going to school and registering your kids, if you ask these questions, the people behind that counter might say, well, that's just the way we do it. But it will put questions in their mind as well if you pose those questions and say, well, I can't sign this because it's a lie. It's a discrepancy. Can we sit down and who's the guy in charge here? Who are the people that are running this school administration? I have a beef with them for putting lies on their documents and then professing we need to sign them because they have some kind of authority over us. They don't. So yes, it would behoove them if people took advantage of the situation we're in and sent their kids back to school smarter than when they left. See, I had the best of both worlds. I went to some pretty good public schools. And I also had homeschooling. So I was able to see the discrepancies. So when they tried telling me at school that Columbus discovered America, I got into researching words. I was one of those little kids that sat around reading dictionaries because I saw the lie in the words when I was little. I did a video here a couple years ago, and let me tell you, I'll reiterate it. When you look at all these different dictionaries, you'll see that a lot of the dictionaries use like terms. Some of them won't use all the ones that another one uses, and another one may use different ones than this one used, but yet within they're all going to be synonymous little terms, and that just shows you it's just another man's opinion. That's it. Nothing more and nothing less. So when you want to get in on this fear-mongering stuff without doing your research, there's going to come a time where I'm going to start getting rid of people that keep throwing shit on my page or sending me stuff in Messenger that's nothing but fear-mongering. I do pay attention to that. And I want, like I said, I want people on my side that are going to stand up beside me instead of cower behind me. I can't do anything for those that are cowering behind me because they can't see what I see. Whereas if you're standing side by side, you're going to see the pictures I see. And I'm going to do my best to explain them. So, coronavirus, common cold, nothing more. 5G, it's been around since the beginning of time. And believe me, if you're afraid of 5G now, you should have been afraid of 1G back in the 1970s when they invented the microwave. It's the only difference. It's just different resonant frequency. And it's natural. Alpha, gamma, beta, and delta rays. The rays that cause cancer. And we live with them every day. We live with them every day. Do we die from them every day? Many people do die from cancers every day. But that's only because they aren't filling themselves with knowledge. My people shall perish for lack of knowledge. And when my people perish for lack of knowledge, it's because they've denied me. And because they've denied me through that lack of knowledge, that means that their children don't have that knowledge either. It means their children will die for lack of knowledge. So it's not until you step up and start filling yourself with knowledge that you can save yourself and your little ones. Until then, ain't nothing going to happen. And that's all you got to do. You don't have to be out there active on some kind of protest line or anything like that. You don't have to go up on the house of the Capitol and enforce your right of arms with a big group of people that have guns and everything. All you have to do is use mankind's most powerful weapon. And its ammunition. You got to have the heart. It's got to be written in your heart. You're not going to read it in any book. You're not going to read it in any code, statute, rule, regulation, or anything. Even the Bible, with all of its different transliterations and everything, is not going to tell you. You can tell people all you want. You just got to be fair and impartial. And they won't comprehend you. And that's all the Bible says. It tells you to be fair and impartial. That's as simple. That's the simplest summary of the Bible. Fairness and impartiality. So if you can't get it with those two words, you're certainly not going to get it from the Bible. You're certainly not going to get it from the 8 million plus codes, rules, regulations, statutes, acts, edicts, ordinances, proclamations, declarations, and whatnot. So think about this stuff, people, and quit the fear-mongering. Educate yourselves, and let's move forward through this. This isn't something that's going to stop us. There's no way they can stop us. Truth is what it is. So anyway, I hope you guys get this, because I'm done. I'm not gonna put up with the fear-mongering stuff anymore. If you can't move forward learning the correct words and behave that way, again, the morpheme of the grapheme of the phoneme, they took this behave, which is actually two words, and it's known as the present time. I behave everything there is. It's not behave. In no other context. In no other context is H-A-V-E pronounced have. It's have. And when it's separated appropriately into the two words and graphemed with that hyphen in its correctness, behave, you will then maybe learn how to behave. Behave of everything there is. Behave of you. I behave of you just by you sitting here watching. I am behaving of you. You are behaving of me. This is fair and impartial. There's no argument. It's just statements firmly based upon my belief, my first-hand knowledge. I don't like that word belief, but we have to use it sometimes because there are things that you just don't know. And if you don't know or you can't clarify it for others, then you're wise to use the word belief. But believe me, I think I know what I'm talking about. But again, don't believe me. Don't believe me, don't believe your government, and don't believe your neighbor, don't believe the school teacher, don't believe the congressman, don't believe the president, don't believe anybody. Do your research and do it diligently. Use several sources so you can figure out where the discrepancies really are and what the importance of them are. Okay? Other than that, I'm done with my rant today. Sorry I don't usually do rants, but it's pertinent. I'm trying to take a few days off. I separated the rib and I'm a hurting unit. So I've been sleeping a lot, not smoking much at all, and it's been on my mind. Because every time I open this damn thing up, there's all this shit about coronavirus and 5G. I'm tired of it. Tired of it. But remember, people, I love you. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. So God bless and have a great day.